Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The feature race at Saratoga on Saturday is the Grade 1 $600,000 Alabama for 3-year-old fillies going the classic distance of 1.25 miles. You can bet the race with your very own DRF Bets account. Sign up, get 10 times the bonus. DRF.com/bet is where you need to go for all the details. Here is the field of 3-year-old fillies for the prestigious Alabama. Approximate post time 5:40 for Saratoga's race number 9, Midnight Bisou. 7-5 on the morning line. Steve Asmussen, Mike Smith, beaten last time out by Mona Moy Girl. There's no disgrace to that. Mona Moy Girl's the leading light in this division by a good large margin, and I don't really think that pace shaped up so well for Midnight Bisou.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I hear what you're saying, that Mona Moy Girl is certainly the leader of this division right now. I got news for you. It's a lot closer than a lot of people think it is. That race last time in the Coaching Club Oaks, yes, Mona Moy Girl was best in there, but she was also loose on the lead in there, walking up the backstretch. To me, Midnight Bisou had absolutely no chance in that race, ran a lot better than it looks, and it's a lot closer between those two fillies at the top of this division. Mona Moy Girl has all the credentials, all the Grade 1 wins, so she's going to get this title. But this horse could win this race and win it very easily. And Mona Moy Girl's not that much better than her.
I tend to agree with that, and I think Mike Smith going into the first turn was very happy because for a brief instant it looked like long shot Geo Game was going to go out and press Mona Moy Girl, and on the backstretch Smith was like, they're not pressing it. Oh, we gotta go. And she was 3 wide all the way through the turn. She took her shot. She tried real hard. She was second best on that day. The question for you, and the question really for all of these fillies, is this: the 1.25 miles.
Yeah, I mean, it is a big question. She's got to stretch out a little bit. So does everybody else in this field. I think all things being equal, I couldn't really find the one horse in this field who I feel like, well, that horse is just way better suited to 1.25 miles than Midnight Bisou is. I don't see that horse. I think in a lot of ways, Midnight Bisou just might be better. Maybe she's not a lot better than some of these horses. I think she might be better than these horses, yeah.
Let's take a look at the number 8, Talk Vuv to Me, through the Timeform US Pace Projector. They've got Talk Vuv to Me out there on the lead. Red bar indicates the pace will be fast. Well, heck, she ran fast on the lead last time out in the Grade 3 Indiana Oaks, and she just dusted that weaker bunch. She has been nothing but consistent for these connections, never off the exacta from 5 lifetime starts. Here's the class and distance test. But if she gets out there and gets to an easy lead, she can make this field pay. I like this horse.
Yeah, she's a good horse. It'll be interesting to see what she does here. Obviously, she has the same distance question everybody else does. 4 starts this year as a 3-year-old, just run nothing but figures that suggest that she fits right in near the top of this division. I do think she has to improve a little bit to beat a horse like Midnight Bisou, but there's no reason why she can't do it. It all comes down to distance and how comfortable can she get up on the pace, because it's not like, maybe she will clear in here, but she's not supposed to be walking on the lead in this race.
Kenny McPeak and Jose Ortiz, they're hoping for a fast pace up front with the number 2, Eskimo Kisses. And I think you can make an argument that this filly is dirtied up and she might be the one that is bred to appreciate the 1.25 miles, or at least built to appreciate it more than some of these others. In that Ashland Stakes, Mona Moy Girl wired her. She walked on the lead. She had no chance. In the Kentucky Oaks, I thought she ran well. The trip wasn't that great. She ran fine to be 4th. And in the Coaching Club, again, if you thought Midnight Bisou was compromised by the pace, certainly Eskimo Kisses, who McPeak says was using that race as a prep for the Alabama, was using it, was compromised by the pace as well. This one's going to be running late.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that stuff. I mean, in a lot of ways, to me, it's her and Midnight Bisou, and then maybe a little bit of a margin back to the rest of them here. I think she's really good, but she is, unlike Midnight Bisou, who I think can get the right trip in this race.
She's coming from last.
I mean, she's going to be out of it, and she's really going to need this race to set up, and she's going to have to really, I think, appreciate the 1.25 miles. And I hear what you're saying. When you look at her and when you see her running style, you just feel like, well, the longer, the better. But that's not always the case, and it does feel like this race is going to have to set up for her in some way if she's going to get there first. She's pretty good, though. She's a dangerous horse in here.
This is going to come out the wrong way because A, I'm a fan of Piedi Bianchi, and B, she does have some credentials. She was multiple Grade 1 placed, 3 times Grade 1 placed, as a matter of fact, as a juvenile filly. But why is she in here? Her first start off a long layoff was in a 6 furlong allowance race where I think there was not a lot of pace for her to run at, and really she didn't have much of a chance. Now she's stretching out from 6 furlongs to 1.25 miles in only her 2nd start as a 3-year-old. I find it interesting that part owners of Midnight Bisou also have part of Piedi Bianchi. Is she going to try to push this pace?
You know what? That's not even a connection that I made, but maybe that is why she did, because I sort of did the same thing you did. I know that she was a good 2-year-old. She wasn't a great 2-year-old.
I like her.
She was a good 2-year-old. Nothing wrong with her. There are excuses for her first start for Pletcher because, as you pointed out, the pace wasn't fast. That was a speed favoring track. Perfect Miss just went right up to the front there. Nobody got anywhere near her. And this race just sort of grinded on for third. So I looked at it and was just like, this is the next race for her, the Alabama. It seems strange that she's running in this race, but maybe she's just in here for that reason. But it's not like she isn't a good horse.
No, I always liked her last year. She reminded me a lot of Landover Sea, that nice filly that Doug O'Neill had that always ran into Songbird. Right. Let's talk a little bit about She's a Julie, the other Steve Asmussen-trained horse in this race. And this is a case of a filly where I really never liked most of her races.
Yeah.
I watched her last race, the Grade 3 Iowa Oaks, and I don't know who that was filling in for She's a Julie that day, but if that's the new She's a Julie, she can win this race because she won that race under a hammerlock. She beat 2 minor next out winners. Yeah. She's got the tactical speed perhaps to get the jump on Midnight Bizou turning into the stretch. And I think in breaking apart this pedigree, there's enough for 1.25 miles. You've got Dubai Millennium as the broodmare sire. The second dam was a long-winded turf router.
Yeah, I mean, those things are all true. I agree with all that stuff. But I agree mostly with the way that you led into her because outside of her last race, and I thought she was fine in there. I don't love that race maybe as much as other people do. I don't really like any of her other races. Her win 2 starts back did absolutely nothing for me with a perfect trip. Her win 3 starts back, or her second place finish 3 starts by ahead with a fast figure, did absolutely nothing for me where she's walking on the lead along with Geo Game and nobody else is doing anything behind them. And listen, maybe she just turned it all around last time and she's going to show up in the Alabama and be that horse again, but I want to see her do it.
Co-best last figure with Midnight Bizou will be a little bit of a better price. Auspicious Babe has won her last 2 races for Dallas Stewart, beat 2 next out winners in her most recent start, although she kind of took advantage, I thought, of a slow pace that day against much weaker horses. She has to step it up from a buyer standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, she does feels like maybe a horse who's just taking a shot. 2 for 2 around 2 turns, very lightly raced. Could certainly improve, but she has to improve a lot in this race.
Figuerella's Queen, no match for Talk Vuv to me last time out in the Indiana Oaks, but I do like the fact that she has learned to rate for Brad Cox. And again, it's always tough to dismiss Brad Cox at a big price, although I find it hard to believe that Figuerella's Queen's going to improve 5 lengths on Talk Vuv to me in a month, let alone Midnight Bizou and the others.
I agree with all that stuff. I mean, she's a really cool horse. She's good on turf. She's obviously capable on dirt as well. She's run well in her last 2 races, but she has to improve again.
Coach Rock's graded stakes winner had just had the misfortune to catch Red Ruby in her last 2 races. It's a shame that Red Ruby got hurt and missed this race because she was just coming to hand in the Delaware Oaks. What are you going to say? She ran into that one. That one won by 13. She was 8 lengths clear of everybody else. She's another horse, though, that's versatile. I'm curious to see how Luis Saez plays the break here.
Yeah, I agree. I liked her win in the Gulfstream Oaks back in March. Not that was the strongest field in the world, but I liked that win from her. I don't like how poorly she ran in the Kentucky Oaks, a race where they felt like that was the race where they really tested her. And boy, she didn't even come close in there. So now they're going to step back up here. There's no Monomoy Girl, but there's other good horses in here.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 1 Alabama Stakes. Midnight Bizou's just the horse to beat. She's been so consistent since day one. You're a fan of Eskimo Kisses, however. I can see you trying to lock up a 3-2 cold punch.
Yeah, I'll be using mostly the 3 and the 2 in this race. I'm not against Midnight Bizou. I thought when they first drew the race that I would maybe take a shot against her. But I just think she's good, and I think she's not getting the respect she deserves. She'll be the favorite in here, but she's not getting the respect she deserves. I think she's a lot closer to Monomoy Girl than people think she is.
3-2-8 for Mike in here. I got to use Midnight Bizou in any kind of multiple race wager, and I would have to lean on her heavily in the multis. But I'm going to give a chance to She's a Julie. I mean, I don't know where that last race came from, but boy, she never got out of a gallop. And she won with a figure. If you believe that figure, it's a little bit of a leap of faith, but at least you're believing the figure on a horse that could be the 3rd or 4th choice in this race. I'll take a stab with She's a Julie. 4-3-8-2 for me in the Grade 1 Alabama. The feature race at the Spa on Saturday. Bet it with your new DRF Bets account and the 10-time sign-up bonus that comes along with it. DRF.com/bet is where you need to go. Approximate post time for the Alabama. Midnight Bizou going to go off the favorite, 5:40 Eastern. Best of luck.